signed MOUs with Microsoft, Cisco, Adobe. So all these tech companies are willing to partner with the CBSE board, and these 28,400 schools which are part of the CBSE, but though a smaller fraction of the education world in the country, I would urge you to be the leader and to show the way to the rest of us. Just to give you a perspective, there are 26.4 crore children in the country going to 15 lakh schools. And out of this, 2 crore children are going to CBSE schools, which are 28,400 in number. So, though in terms of number you are a smaller part, but in terms of technology, in terms of research which leads to better pedagogy, you are much better placed to show the way to the rest of the educational world in the country. And I was just talking to Dr. Vishwajit Saha, and in fact I was just mentioning that maybe we missed out on inviting the state school boards. There are about, other than you, there are about 59, 64 of them. So Dr. Saha tells me that next time I think we will call a meeting of this kind. We'll also call all the state school boards. And you've become an assessment and awarding agency for NCBET. In due course of time, I shall urge CBSE to handhold all these school boards across the country to also make them assessing and awarding agencies to be declared by the NCBET. But let CBSE do the handholding part of it. So these are some of the initial thoughts which come to my mind. I would leave a few more thoughts with you. Can we, in our schools, set up a multi-skill laboratory? And this will have to be imagined with a little bit of care, where what kind of skilling we bring in these multi-skill laboratories will have to be brought in a manner that is very flexible. So with a little change, you can change the profession or the trade or the skill. So if that can be done, and if you can pilot something like this, then maybe we could think about seeding it all across the country. That's number one. The number two I want to tell you is that we have a very forward-looking and a very ambitious scheme of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. That is Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. We are up with the version 4 now, which we are going to start in our schools, and we've been given 800 schools all across the country to be done. Each school would do about 200 students. So this is again, we are working with the CBSE schools to run Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana in a manner which is befitting to the aim of the scheme. So, lastly, I would take this opportunity to thank CBSE once again for bringing in together all of you on a common platform. Let us attempt to create a common template for skilling, which can be used as a common platform, not only in the CBSE schools, but all these schools starting from upper primary. That is, all schools which are there from class 6 to 12. The learning from these deliberations should go there. As of now, I think our traction still remains poor. I've been looking at the CBSE data, and they tell me that almost about 10.75 lakh students have done this training, and 1,65,000 students appear in the class 12th examination. This number needs to go up. It's a heartening number, but this number needs to climb up so as to reach out to more and more students. I'll be waiting for the deliberations of this meeting to come to us so we could study it and take it to the other schools. Once again, thank you for listening to me, and thank you for being such a great partner, and I look forward to very fine outcomes from this particular meeting. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
धन्यवाद श्रीमान। आपने जो उदाहरण और जानकारी दी वो हम सबके जीवन से जुड़ी हुई है, जिससे हम सब जरूर कुछ ना कुछ जरूर सीखेंगे। आपको इस प्रेरक और ज्ञानवर्धक संबोधन के लिए बहुत धन्यवाद। अब मैं धन्यवाद ज्ञापन के लिए डॉक्टर विश्वजीत साहा जी को आमंत्रित करना चाहती हूँ।
Good morning, everyone. I think first of all, जो काम हम कर सकते हैं, after the great speech of our chief guest, ताली मेरा ख्याल से थोड़ा कम है। एल्बर्ट आइंस्टाइन ने कहा है, knowledge का only source is experience. And I strongly believe that we all gain from the vast knowledge, experience and insight of our honorable chief guest Sanjay sir, जो सेक्रेटरी स्कूल एजुकेशन एंड लिटरेसी भारत सरकार का में है, and we are specially grateful to him for his kind presence and also blessed us with his diversified thought. I must convey my gratitude to our honorable chairperson, Madam Mini Chipper, who is constant source of inspiration and guided us to make this happen today. And the long hold preparations from the CBSE team, it was ongoing, and today I think we are seeing the light of it. And in the morning, we were quite worried about the participations and whether hall would be full or not. But at the time of this, giving this vote of thanks, I think entire hall is full. So our compliment to all the parents, teachers, industry representatives, to all of you. I must compliment the presence of Honorable Joint Secretary, Ministry of Education, Madam Prachi Pandey. She is JS institutions and also incidentally looking after the vocational domain. So not only CBSE, other state board and other ministry affairs, she is looking after, and she constantly guides us what way CBSE can be in the forefront and how with the interministerial affairs, and of course from the Ministry of Education also there are a lot of initiatives are happening. And sir ने mention नहीं किया, but मैं सर का अनुमति से बोल रहा हूँ, जो PhD स्कूल जो बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट एक मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन ने कॉन्सेप्चुअलाइज किया, दे आर ऑल्सो सर ने पिछले दिनों में बोला है हाउ देयर वुड बी सेपरेट कंपोनेंट ऑन द वोकेशनल एजुकेशन. सो वी आर रियली हैप्पी फॉर ऑल ऑफ योर omnipresence and guiding us, and of course my all senior colleague from CBSE, head of the departments, other members, team from the skill education department. I am really thankful to all of you, and special thanks to the lifeology team, and of course I must mention the World Bank. The source of fund is definitely matters, gathering all the peoples together and also showing a little hospitality, and that's credit goes to World Bank. Shabnam ji and our team, Kanopriya is personally present, so we are really grateful to all of you. Lifeology team and Ministry of Skill Development, especially NCBT, and all Sector Skills Council representative, and all our industry partner. सर ने सबका नाम ले लिया है, और भी कुछ नाम अगर छूटा है हमसे, but you are constant support in the skilling momentum. So with this note, once again, I am really thankful to all of you, and hope these 2 days journey we will learn from each other and going to create a positive milestone for future skilling, especially school to work transition. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for those kind words. You are definitely the backbone of the event. May I now request our dignitaries to kindly step ahead. We would like to extend a token of our gratitude to all our distinguished guests. These are very special paintings made by talented students of various CBSE schools. I will now request Dr. Saha to kindly present our mentors with these beautiful pieces of art. Kindly step ahead. ये कलाकृतियाँ रंगों, आशाओं और कौशलता का प्रतीक है।
नमस्कार, मैं फंक्शन में हूँ, मैं फंक्शन में हूँ, CBSE के भेजती हूँ, शाम को भेजती हूँ, बहुत बड़े फंक्शन में।
Sir, I have a suggestion. Sir, I have a suggestion from what you spoke. Sir, I have a suggestion. Hope I get my mic. This one? Check. Check, sir. Can you hold this for me, please?
अभी नहीं
यहीं से पूछ लूंगी मैं, सर।
वेट करो, अंदर आपको वहाँ पे अभी नहीं।
नहीं, मुझे क्वेश्चन पूछना है,
प्लीज
सर।
मैडम।
Sir, I want to ask a question. question.
सोचने से कहाँ मिलते हैं तमन्नाओं के शहर, सोचने से कहाँ मिलते हैं तमन्नाओं के शहर, चलना भी जरूरी है मंजिल पाने के लिए। हम सार्थक चर्चाओं, ज्ञानवर्धक सत्रों से भरे दिन की जल्दी ही शुरुआत करेंगे। May I request sir to kindly take the dignitaries for the further proceedings, and I'll request the audience to kindly stay back in the auditorium.
A very big thank you to all our illustrious and erudite panelists for their illuminating words of wisdom. We will shortly proceed with the various sessions of our summit. Detailed schedules and venue information are available in your handouts, ladies and gentlemen.
से आए विभिन्न विद्यालयों के शिक्षक, अभिभावक और प्यारे बच्चों, CBSE नेशनल स्किल्स समिट के ज्ञानवर्धक सत्रों में आपका स्वागत है। अगला सत्र हमें नवाचार और उद्यमिता के विषय में कई अनूठी और अद्भुत जानकारियां देगा।
Ladies and gentlemen, the title of our next panel discussion is Trailblazing Tomorrow, Skills for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. We are privileged to have an esteemed panel joining us today.
आज का अपना पहला सत्र शुरू करते हुए हम आपको अपने पैनलिस्ट का परिचय देते हैं। सर्वप्रथम हमारे साथ हैं डॉक्टर अभय जेरे जी। डॉक्टर जेरे भारतीय शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में एक सम्मानित व्यक्ति हैं, जो अखिल भारतीय तकनीकी शिक्षा परिषद के उपाध्यक्ष और शिक्षा मंत्रालय में मुख्य नवाचार अधिकारी के रूप में कार्यरत हैं। दूरदर्शी और अग्रणी डॉक्टर जेरे ने भारत में शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में नवाचार लाने में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई है। आपका स्वागत करते हैं।
Next we have Mr. Harsh Nikra, an Innovation Ambassador for the Ministry of Human Resource Development. Mr. Nikra is the CEO of Novartis. He specializes in air purification technologies and is celebrated for his eco-friendly initiatives, including the development of a filterless retrofit emission control device. A true innovator in every sense. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We are also honored to have Mr. Ravi Ravaria. He is the founder of R-Cube Recycling Private Limited, an organization committed to recycling and sustainability. Recognized by the UNDP and various ministries, Mr. Ravaria is also an incubatee at IIT Kanpur. His passion for environmental sustainability is simply awe-inspiring.
और साथ ही हमें इस सत्र में हमारे साथ होंगे श्री रमाशंकर पांडे जी, जो चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर हैं टाटा ऑटोकॉम GY बैटरीज प्राइवेट लिमिटेड से। अब हम इस सत्र को शुरू करने के लिए डॉक्टर अभय जेरे जी को आमंत्रित करते हैं, जो भारतीय शिक्षा पटल पर नव प्रवर्तन का एक अनूठा आयाम और आकार दे रहे हैं। सर,
What about the teachers that are not?
आज गणेश चतुर्थी के पावन फेस्टिवल पे आप सबको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। मैं महाराष्ट्र से हूँ, पुणे से हूँ, तो ये हमारे लिए तो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट फेस्टिवल है। और इस फेस्टिवल के दरमियान आई एम एबल टू एक्चुअली talk to educators, students, teachers. So I consider myself extremely fortunate. So thanks CBSE for giving me this opportunity and inviting me for this school to work transition seminar. I wear two hats. One, as Vice Chairman for All India Council for Technical Education, where we actually play a role of regulator, where we look at the standards of our engineering colleges, our technical education, our diploma, hotel management, MBA. And I also wear another hat as Chief Innovation Officer for Ministry of Education, where I actually try my best to promote innovation, entrepreneurship, startup ecosystem within our schools as well as colleges. And it's extremely important that we link these two, because as our Honorable Prime Minister has given us the target of being a developed country by 2047. And when we are talking about developed country by 2047, what it means? It means that we have to evolve ideas which are not just for our country, but for our world. Means we have to emerge as a knowledge-based economy. And if you have to really emerge as this knowledge-based economy, then we cannot just think about India. And that is the reason when now India has started thinking global. If you see our G20 theme also, what was that? What was the theme? One Earth, one family, one future. It means that in entire thought process, we have to reorient, we have to think big, and we have to think for the world. And if you have to think for the world, then we have to generate ideas which our world will accept, which the entire world will celebrate. And from that perspective, role of our schools is going to be extremely critical. Otherwise, we will again lose this bus. But now we are determined not to give this opportunity off. We will focus on promoting innovation, idea generation, and even startup activities in our schools. And from that perspective, we are doing multiple initiatives. We are doing multiple interventions. And the first, most important, where CBSE has played a very, very important role, is actually come up with a policy for promoting innovation and entrepreneurship in schools. How many of you have looked at that policy document? Very few. I will request all of you to actually go through that document. It clearly highlights what schools need to do if you have to promote innovation, if you have to promote IP filing. Because usually what happens when we talk to schools, we ask them, what is your success? Can you define your success? Then most of the time the answers we get is, मेरा इतना परसेंटेज रिजल्ट आया है, 100% result. More than 95% students scoring more than 98% marks. Right? These kind of answers we get. But we hardly get an answer that we have 5, 10 IPs. We have incubated 2 startups. Or we have won this idea competition or these hackathons. And that has to change. Because अभी थोड़ा सा तो change हो गया है genuinely, especially when it comes to CBSE schools. But if you still go to state boards, and honestly अगर हम पूछें, क्या ideas कौन kill करते हैं? कौन kill करते हैं? Parents at home and teachers in school. बराबर है ना? When anyone asks an intelligent question, you just snap back saying that, बड़ी बड़ी बातें मत कर, मार्क्स कितना मिला बता, right? ठीक रहा है. And this kind of response actually kills the creativity. We have to change that. We have to push students to think out of the box. Because people like me, although I'm very fortunate to stand here with gray hairs, our minds are definitely dead, We cannot really think out of the box. We think incremental. If we have to get really out of the box idea, we have to push some of the youngsters which are sitting here. Because they don't carry the baggage. And what we really need to do then is to just nurture that thought process. And suddenly you will realize that they have come up with something very, very unique. I don't know how many of you are aware about this Yuvraj Bharadwaj story. How many of you are aware?
So they are from my school only.
Great.
My students.
So you should talk to them. How many of you know their story? Just raise your hand. 1, 2. They are 2 kids. Now they are 20, 21. One of them also got married. But they started working on their project when they were in 6th standard. And at that time, they even started, because for their project, they were working on water purification or something of the sort. They started reading thermodynamics and those kind of things. And unfortunately, they were not getting good answers. Nobody was ready to explain them. आप कभी युवक से पूछोगे तो वो बताएगा in private कि उन्होंने क्या किया. To actually learn, that time Insta was not there, Facebook was there. They went to Facebook and actually created fake IDs from names of Bollywood actresses. And then they started approaching as an actress to professors, asking them questions about thermodynamics. And the professor was very happy. That now some actress, very famous actress from Bollywood, is asking me a question on thermodynamics. And they were more than willing to answer them, to explain them, send notes to them. It's a very, very interesting story, Now they say others should not do it, But they actually did all this gimmickry because there was no ecosystem to actually help and support. They sold their first patent, they registered their patent when they were 7th standard, and they sold it actually for, I think, $1 million. $1 million when they were in 8th standard or 9th standard. To a company in Bangalore. So this kind of Yuvraj or Yashraj we need to create. Now, they are just 21. They have more than 400 people working for them. They also have an office in Burj Khalifa. Just 21. 400 people working for them. That kind of an enterprise they have built. They were rated as by Forbes most influential below 30, So what I want to say is that whether there is only one Yuvraj or Yashraj, no, there are many such kids. Every school will have such kids. The question is, are we nurturing them efficiently? And if you have to do that, what kind of ecosystem we should create? That is the real question. And if you really look at some of the initiatives now that we have started, we are trying to answer that question. We are trying to help build that ecosystem. And the first step in that direction was this National Innovation Policy for promoting innovation and entrepreneurship in schools. So I will request you to kindly look at that policy document very, very carefully. Because we have talked about how a teacher should be incentivized for working on these activities. What kind of time commitment people can give for these kind of activities? If there is a startup, what kind of revenue sharing model should be there? What kind of equity sharing model should be there? If IP gets created, how IP management should be done? It's a very good policy document, which CBSE has put together. I will request you to look into it. Another important initiative what we have taken is we have now introduced design thinking in schools. How many of you have looked at design thinking books? Good, that's a pretty big number. And you have implemented, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you find it something very interesting?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
We are also telling our college faculty members, college students, to do a course on design thinking. Because for some of you who don't know what is design thinking is not about design. Design thinking is how to think. It's a methodology. How to identify a problem. How to visualize a solution. What consideration you need to give while visualizing a solution. Because currently, when we come across any of the problem, we look at others to solve the problem. कोई तो आएगा मेरी समस्या सॉल्व करेगा. Because मैं तो रोट लर्निंग करता हूँ. We want government to solve the problem. We want some companies to solve the problem. Municipal corporations to solve the problem. Or we expect that some technology from abroad will come and solve our problems. But we never take upon it ourselves that I will do something about it. And I will solve the problem. And that needs to be actually pushed. Because I will tell you, moving forward, if you will not teach a kid how to solve the problem, then it's going to be extremely difficult for him or her to really survive. I don't know how many of you are aware what is going to be the scenario or 10 years from now, but I will just try to give you a glimpse of it. It's not going to be a very hunky-dory story, but I will just like to end my talk by giving that scenario so that that scenario actually remains with you. And it compels you to think on how the world is going to evolve. How many of you have heard the word gig economy? Many, really. Okay? But you are aware what gig economy is. Everyone is aware what gig economy is. And that is going to get mainstream. आपने ओला ड्राइवर देखा है? उबर ड्राइवर देखा है? जोमेटो वाला देखा है? स्विगी वाला देखा है? वो किसी का काम करता है या खाली टाइम में वो सिर्फ जाकर डिलीवरी करता है या he works. So he's not an employee, right? He's a contractual person who works for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, depending upon his availability of time, right? So abhi, like a film industry, if you want to make a film, you come together as a team. Director आता है, producer आता है, singer आता है, actors, actresses. You work on a project, you deliver that project, and you move on. Right? So you get hired from project to project basis. Now start imagining that this becomes mainstream, where all the tech companies starts hiring people on project to project basis. 6 months project, 3 months project, 1-year project. And there will be no permanent jobs.
हाँ जी, गुड आफ्टरनून। आप लोग ऑडिटोरियम
How are our students going to survive
आके ऑडिटोरियम में
if they started getting projects for 3 months and 6 months and a year?
नहीं, डोंट कॉल,
No
में
stability.
आ जाइएगा मैडम, आई एम मैसेजिंग यू।
And for those projects, they have to give their best. They have to continuously innovate. They have to be continuous ahead of the curve so that nobody comes and replaces them. So they remain eligible for the next project, which could be another 3 months or 6 months. And that is the way world is moving. And this is called as gig economy. Now, this is one first scenario. The second scenario, again, you know, that we have huge development in biological sciences. And the lifespan of humans is now increasing. We already have people living for 80 years, 90 years, 100 years. And we can safely say that the millennials, the kids who are born after 2000, are going to live for 80, 90 years, 100 years. More than 90 years. Majority of them. Now, you don't have social security like what we have. Or my earlier, even I don't have that kind of social security. We don't have pensions. Right? Now the pension philosophy is almost out. So you have to survive on your savings. So now if you're going to live for 90 years, you can survive with no social security that much. You can survive for the last 15 years, 70 years on your savings. So what it means, that you will have to work till you're 75. You graduate at age of 23 and you have to work till 75. And when this gig economy culture and this long life will start happening together, see the kind of stress it's going to create on our next generation. And from that perspective, it is extremely important that our kids have mindset where they learn continuously, where they innovate continuously, where they are ahead of the curve. They are dabbling with always new ideas. Otherwise, they will become obsolete, irrelevant. And from that perspective, role of our teachers in training their mindset is going to be extremely critical. So, when we are talking about school to work transition, the transition which you may think is, I get degree, I go to work. But now, no, that scenario is going to change. Where you will have, or the kid needs to come to school again and again, maybe every 5 years or 10 years, to skill and reskill themselves so that they remain relevant. So I will request you all before I conclude that when you are dealing with your kids, you should be aware how the world is evolving. Internally also, you should start a discussion that what will be the design or what will be the nature of educational institute, of our schools in next 10 years, 20 years, so that you will be able to put in place the right kind of system, the right kind of mechanisms for moving generation in the right direction. And as Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell, as CIO, we will be more than happy to work with you along with CBSE in this journey. Thanks once again for giving me this opportunity. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
डॉक्टर सीरी को उनके द्वारा साझा किए गए ज्ञानवर्धक विचारों के लिए धन्यवाद। मैं साथ ही बुलाना चाहूंगी साइंटिस्ट फॉर एक्सीलेंस डॉक्टर अरविंद सी रानडे जी को, who is director NIF गांधीनगर, to kindly join
बहुत बढ़िया
the dignitaries on the dais.
ऑडिटोरियम में, ठीक है। आई वुड लाइक यू पीपल टू अटेंड दिस सेशन, कम डायरेक्टली टू ऑडिटोरियम एंड देन एग्जीबिशन आप लोग, हाँ लेटर ऑन यू कैन सी एग्जीबिशन, ओके।
अब हम सुनेंगे श्री रमाशंकर पांडे जी को, जो चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर हैं टाटा ऑटोकॉम जीवाई बैटरीज प्राइवेट लिमिटेड में। श्रीमान से निवेदन है कि वे अपने संबोधन से हम सबका ज्ञानवर्धन करें।
सबसे पहले तो CBSE और इस आयोजन के लिए सबका धन्यवाद और ह्यूज ग्रैटिट्यूड टू ऑल द टीचर्स, फैकल्टीज हियर। वी ऑल, हम जितने भी लोग आज वर्क एरिया में या इंडस्ट्री प्रैक्टिस में हैं, आपके उस लर्निंग के वजह से हैं और इसीलिए ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है जब भी मौका मिले तो आप लोगों को वो सैल्यूट, वो सलाम, वो उद्गार, वो ग्रैटिट्यूड आपको दे सके। मौका कम मिलता है लोगों में, मीडिया में, हर जगह। मुझे लगता है टीचर्स और उनकी स्टोरियां जितनी निकलनी चाहिए उतनी निकलती नहीं है, लेकिन अगर मौका मिले तो जरूर करना चाहिए। तो आप सबका धन्यवाद। और एज ए प्रैक्टिशनर, मैं बताऊं जो अभी चर्चा हो रही थी गिग वर्किंग की, the only problem we have, gig working is a fantastic concept taking the whole world for a revolution. If you look at in developed country, it is already happening in millions. But हमारे यहाँ it still has a tag of temporary work, temporary job. And a country which is obsessed with degree and designation, to tell you very frankly, I can openly tell this, a country which is obsessed with degree and designations, temporary work is no designation. And you can see clearly in society, if you have a temporary tag, I don't know how many mothers will marry their daughter with a master plumber or a chief architect who has got no tag of a blue chip companies or no introduction of what he is up to. In society, when I go roughly now almost since 2010, I am on the boards of companies and as a CEO and a managing director, when I give my visiting card, people change their behavior towards you only when they know who you are in the designation. I hardly know people talking to me or identifying with the skill I own or the ability I have. Now that's a challenge for our country, which is 1/6 of the humanity, because we are a highly competitive nation. Opportunities are limited. So when opportunities are limited, of course, first you have to make your first bread. You need that minimum stuff. But that minimum stuff, which is at 2%, 3% of the population, actually deserve the rest of the 98%. I tell you again, taking from just what Dr. Saab just said, who kills the possibilities in the mind of the child? I'll tell you my own story. I belong to a place called Madhubani, a small town, of course very populous town in Bihar, on the Nepal-Bihar border, famous for its paintings. And till my 11th or 12th, I was against my own studies. And I'll tell you the reason. Because, of course, for a good interest, every parent wants their child to grow and they want to give as many facility as possible. So for us, I don't see it now here, but because we are like joint family, around 20 kids together, we had a full-time teacher at home. Now you can imagine when you are a full-time teacher at home and Papa used not to actually get, immersed into what going on. At that point of time, when I had my grandfather and both maternal and paternal living together, that spare the rod and spoil the child was still in their mind. And if we get good beating, and if the sound is coming that they are crying and beating, they feel okay, the education system is running fine at home. Now with that kind of feeling, of course my mom, my grandmother, they were all crying all the time looking at sometimes it is torture because we used to get, those very famous stick. And if you take your hand away, another 10. If you take hand away, another 10. So many times my hand used to be rock solid for next days. And this I'm telling you a true story. Now, why the hell I will study if I know that it is a world which is not giving me any inspiration. It's not something which is giving me, a kind of a pull for me to do something. It was all about discipline in a different kind of instruction based. So this landed me up not to study good. I did not even get my 60% in 10th. But to my luck, I was thrown because of some good connection network in Delhi. Lived very difficult life initially because for parents, if you don't have 60% in a village where everybody is like IS officers in Madhubani and those villages, you are already gone. You don't have any chance. So with that, when you are factored completely out, I started making my first understanding of life when I came to Delhi. And slowly, somehow, due to whatever reason I was struggling or that knowledge came, I could qualify for engineering entrance. So I joined a college called NIT Calicut. Believe me, that changed my life. I could not have even speaking one sentence of English. And I'm here today in front of you. In 2010, I became the youngest MD of a listed company in this country. This was 2010 when I became MD of India IT. This celebration, now we can clap, but I can see my mind and my psychology at that point of time. Roughly at 8th and 9th, I was actually bedridden due to my depressive nature because I was not feeling myself even worth. Doctors gave up, and I can confess this very clearly here because COVID saw many of us how difficult life can be when you are under stress. And imagine now the kids when they are under stress, I can relate to it. What life to the extent that some of these teachers used to change because these teachers were who? They were like college students living in this town because they were coming from the village and father used to give them a place to live and a little money too. So those were the teachers. They were not qualified teachers. And at times, at least I remember, I got even physically abused, sexually abused, which is a terror. But in this whole process, what I understood after going to NIT Calicut, the moment it was so fertile ground, and I started topping my class. Actually, I became university rank holder at NIT Calicut. This could only happen, what I saw, was just mindset. I tell you now in the work, it is the similar situation in the work also. There's a lot of toxicity and stress. You look at the middle class. They have their EMI already full. They sometimes are forced in the job they are. Hardly it's a choice. But believe me, I will define work like following. If you are asked to work, अगर आपकी मजबूरी है तो वो काम लगता है, headache लगता है, stress लगता है. But what if you want to work? What if, for example, many teachers join this profession because they want to be teachers. They love to be there. And then they do the best job. Now that passion can only come when you align your true nature with the purpose. Now that simple education, that simple philosophy, whoever gets whenever. I was lucky I got an NIT Calicut. I did later at IIM Bangalore. I'm still going back to the college many times wherever I can contribute to the IMB. Wherever I go, I think I feel that second 3, 4, 5 seconds or a minute of transition in the mind of the kid, I think that is everything. In the whole tenure of his school education, if that can be done, it's enough. But because India has such a huge population, we all want to go in the same opportunity which everybody is chasing. What's the outcome? Outcome is 98% of us, and I think you can relate to that, are rejected here or there because it's a queue system. You write entrance for engineering, or you go for a very good BA, or you go for a CA, or there's some very, career is defined. Today for millennials and Gen Z, I don't think we should push ever that kind of, because there we are always in queue. You are always in queue, either in an entrance queue or the next competition or even in the job, we are in the queue. Now when you are in a queue, you hardly get time to put all your ability and flourish. And I tell you one thing, सबसे गरीब कौन है? Who is the poorest of the poor? Somebody who does not get opportunity, somebody who जिसको मौका नहीं मिलता है ना, सबसे गरीब वो है. भले पैसा हो ना हो, अगर किसी ने मौका दे दिया तो उसके अंदर का जो टैलेंट है वो निकल के आ जाए, that works wonders. I was lucky, I worked for Bosch before from campus, but I actually built a company from scratch called India Lighting. I got a chance to build it, and believe me, there is no pleasure more than when your job is attached to your nature, true nature. Then I worked on a social entrepreneurship where I started working on building or saving life on roads. It's called Technology of Tomorrow for the Life of Today on Indian Roads. Someday I can talk about that story. But for today, huge gratitude to teachers if they can actually open up mind of the people for the immense possibility which is there, not for the top 2%. They are already there. I can say those top 3% are already there. They will make it in any education system. But for the rest of 98%, I think it matters a lot. And there, my request will be, can we do something for, because today, children's, the attention span is changing, it is becoming very short because of online, digital, mobile. It will be there, you can't stop it. So if you can't stop it, what can we do? So if the attention span is coming smaller and smaller, and you will hear many kids telling, I'm getting bored, and kids are getting bored very, very early. So in that case, for their adrenal rush, for their alignment with what they want to learn to the real world, I think the best solution is apprenticeship. Unfortunately, in our country, apprenticeship is called as, if you want to become a plumber, if you want to become a driver, if you want to become a mechanic, that is how apprenticeship is blamed. But I think this we have to change. Apprenticeship is everything for a management, for a CEO position. I think I was highly motivated when I saw an apprentice in the Bosch organization, that those days used to be called Maiko. He became the president of the company. I was in Bangalore that time. I could see that transformation. Can we give that dream to the people? Can we let that passion get arousing? And when that happens, we have to also change the format of the apprenticeship. And this is where I work with ASDC, Arindam is here, Automotive Skill Development Council. As an industry body, we have many councils. I work with automotive and also work with management and entrepreneurship where IMA is there. At all sides, what I see is, can we do it a micro apprenticeship? That means somebody can learn by gamification, by 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because this is what we do on our mobiles. That's how we learn. Can we convert, because in our time it was 3 hours feature films, you remember? And now you know what it is. It converted to serials, it converted to another, and now it is like reels. Reels are what? 15 seconds. Can that 15 seconds be so powerful that it can change mind of the people and push towards innovation? You know, in my company, and LIT, we got CII Most Innovative Company Award, and I saw, and I'll tell you sometime later that why that award came, because that impacted this country hugely to save lives. Because in our country, करोड़ों लोग सड़क पे चलते हैं, roughly 415 लाइफ, 415 लोग मर जाते हैं रोज, अपने परिवार को वापस मिलते ही नहीं. And this kind of problem is not getting the kind of attention. But for example, COVID से ज़्यादा लोग सड़क पे मरते. And we said we'll make a difference in our company. And we created a lot of innovation, and you will see this on roads now, which is already happening and saving life on road. But having that urge, having that, बोलते हैं पंगा लेने का जो एक, अगर बचपन से आ जाए, अगर youth में आ जाए, and then they are given the education which they can apply for. This all thing comes together, is called gamifying the apprenticeship. That's my dream. Someday, some school, I think there are a lot of push from NEP and everyone in that direction. And I feel that 5 years down the line this will happen, that dream will come true. It will not be that rote learning or just by marks. We must innovate how we evaluate a person. Today it's fixed from last so many years, just by marks. Today there is a very good ecosystem of startups, and we just discussed how people in the early age are able to bring funding. Now if the person is able to give the funding at the age of 12 to 13, that means there's a stuff inside. How can schools also marry this and bring evaluation other than marks and in 15 seconds? How can that happen? I know it is difficult, but the dream is, can we have micro entrepreneurship? For example, it used to happen in our Gurukul time. You do that work, apply that knowledge, learn it, and get reward. If you don't give reward, if you wait, let the children wait for a year for reward. Believe me, now the attention span has come down. You have to give them reward now. In the class, then itself, in that 30 minutes class, 40 minutes class, if the child has a reward today, he will go and find every knowledge from everywhere in the world. And he'll come back to you tomorrow with even some more knowledge. Even out of syllabus as well. They will do that kind of research, is possible. But can we motivate? Today's, millennials and, Gen Z, they don't have big car, big house and all designation. It's not motivating them. What motivates them is, how can I do a world-class thing? How can I do something in India which is nowhere in the world has been done? Can we actually trigger that? And I have seen my own life, believe me. Whenever I have been only taking that risk to go to that level, I could manage it. With Ministry of Road Transport, with Mr. Gadkari, I worked a lot on the road safety. There was a time when you take some large goal, everybody will tell the society, तेरा पैर टूट जाएगा, तू fail कर जाएगा तो क्या होगा? Now this risk averseness, not let us allow to go further. My request to teachers is, can you rather expand it At least you tell the kid, if they fail, you'll be there for him or her. It will make a huge difference. This is what NIT Calicut did to me. Even before I started working for college. I was actually secretary for Computer Society of India. It's a like extracurricular, like an NSS. I was executive and all that. I think what I saw is much before, in my second year itself, I started working for college with all this work responsibility for 6 months. Teachers could not take my sessional exams, so I was across in all cities, just bringing the scientists and all the speakers and all the sponsorship for the college, so much so that I had my own cabin to work, I had my own computers at that time. I'm talking about 96, 95, 96, computers, printers, like an office, everything given by the principal or the director of the institute. That could work wonders for me. When I was trusted, it went wonders for me. We could organize, all the IITs and NITs put together. We used to have a CSI symposium. That was great. So my request is, I will end up with this. If I have seen myself, I don't want to go into any theory. And there's so many study now which tells that kids need inspiration every day. They need reward every day. To the extent that if we just ignite them, for that matter, Dr. Kalam was my major inspiration. Even in Madhubani, when you can have the access of reading the books. And when I came in the NIT Calicut, he was personally there. And he touched us and he said to all the kids in the college, we were like, I was maybe 18 years, 17 years at that time. And he said, India will grow leaps and bounds, it's written on the wall, because of whatever is happening globally. But one thing will stop India to grow, which is the skills of our youth. We will not have that much skilled people. And skill means education skill is the same. We just have to marry it. I have been working 25 years with German companies, and I have seen how Germany has this dual education. The kids in the nursery, in the KG, in the first class itself decide which way to go, and both are equally reputed. The skill section and the simple education or research section, both are equally rewarded. The day society start giving that weightage, it will work wonders. So I would like to end here to just request and give my own experience. It works wonders when the youth of the country is trusted for making world-class things. And we just make that environment and equip them with all the connectivity which they are already today. If somebody wants to meet Bill Gates or somebody wants to meet today any great role model, it's possible. It's possible. So can we ignite that dream? Only that dream will make them, and also it makes us happy. And I tell you, this is not only in schools. Since I am practicing in the industry since almost 26 years now, it's in the industry also. When we give purpose to our employees, they do wonders. In fact, my last company was Great Place to Work in India, in the top 25. From nothing, at one point of time, no employee wanted to join the company. And at one point of time, it became India's 25 Great Place to Work. This was possible by giving them purpose. They all melted together. Otherwise, in our country, we have so much, differences among people. Whenever you have the world-class things to do, you have to collaborate. Innovation will never happen if you don't collaborate. It will never happen if you don't cut the boundary, if you don't melt people. So while I saw that purpose and igniting them is such a great tool, I would like this to happen across, both in the industry and both here. And believe me, the skill concepts which government have started has a huge possibility to bring them together. I've seen this in US, in Silicon Valley. Wherever I have gone in Silicon Valley, I found this triple helix they show. The government, the academia and the industry, they have to respect each other equally, not big or small. When that happens, and this does not wait for higher education, my request is, can we start from school? At 14, 13, I did some safety campaign where I made fellowship of these 13, 14 years kids. They did wonderful things. I've seen that. They run the whole television channel in some of the campaign which Mr. Gadkari inaugurated. It's possible. We have to not underestimate. Rather, we can actually let that dream in their mind prosper. So with this, I thank all of you. Looking for any question. Thank you. Bye-bye.
डॉक्टर जेरे जी को किसी अन्य व्यस्तता की वजह से अभी हमारे बीच से निकलना होगा, तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी हमारे कंट्रोलर ऑफ एग्जामिनेशन CBSE डॉक्टर सैम भारद्वाज जी से कि वह कृपया डॉक्टर जेरे को सम्मानित करें। अपना बहुमूल्य समय देने के लिए आपका धन्यवाद सर। और आइए अब हम सुने श्री हर्ष नीत्रा जी को, जो प्रौद्योगिकी और पर्यावरण संरक्षण के क्षेत्र में नित्य नए नवाचार द्वारा हम सबके कल को बेहतर बनाने के लिए सार्थक प्रयास कर रहे हैं।
Excuse me, who's the person?
Very warm greetings.
What is the name of the person?
So I'm Harsh Nikha. I'm working for a startup named Novorbis Private Limited. So Novorbis is basically comprised of two words, Novo and Orbis. So जो हमारा purpose है, what we actually believe in doing is renewing the world. That means basically Novo means renew, Orbis means world. So if I talk about my journey and what we are trying to share and discuss today, so basically the idea generation and the entire, I would say, development of the mindset started when I was in class 9. So just like any other kid, I was very much curious about why and what we are doing, why we are studying, what are the things which can be solved through what we are studying right now. So in that age, this was pre-Geo era, by the way. So we were having limited access and not a lot of information was available. Yes, there was internet access though. But still, we were very much confined and constrained with a mindset that this is the definite part that you have to follow, either be engineer, CA, or just like what the other speaker said. So back then, I started studying and questioning to my faculties and teachers about what is the basic purpose of this whole education system. Suppose I am very much curious about the physics, chemistry, physical sciences, about that, and maybe about environment. So what is actually which will be helpful in the real world scenario? So they started teaching us about cosmology. So there was one very humble teacher that actually ignited the spark of innovation in us back in that day. So when we were told about the entire universe, our place in here, in the entire existence, and our civilization, that how we as Indians have evolved. So we were the pioneers of innovation back then and back now, as like the scenarios are changing. So that gave us a confidence that yes, we are looking in this right direction. Now we just have to find a purpose, and finding the purpose is like the second key criteria which that teacher actually gifted us. So when we are young, we can be easily molded. Currently also we can be molded quite easily, and that's how we are evolving and we are developing this venture. So back then, the purpose that was in that young Harsh, I would say, कि मुझे मेरे resources के साथ जो भी है, financially we, if I say personally, back in 9th, we don't have that much freedom. So my father is an army officer, so we come again from a very confined background as well. So back then, what I developed as a purpose through that teacher was कि मुझे मेरे जितने भी resources मेरे पास हैं, whether it is my mind, whether it's like sharing the knowledge, I will use that to develop something innovative and helpful for people. So I would say that credit goes to that environment which was created by the teacher. So the key takeaway from that entire zone of my life was finding the purpose, knowing what you are and where you are coming from, and developing something which is called as independent growth mindset. So currently, जो हमारी education policy है या whatever the government is trying to do, it is in that direction that we became independent thinker and independent developers of things. So I think that is heading in the right direction, and all the students who are listening. So I would straight away say that कि आप जाएं क्वेश्चन करें अपने टीचर्स के साथ बातचीत करें. No age is like restricted for doing something great. So I started questioning. We then shifted to college era, and that's when things started interesting. When we got the freedom, when we got the entire exposure. So in second year we started this company. And before second year, we were like, we were reading a curriculum which was 20 years older, which actually needed to be updated according to the industry standard. So that we actually lost our interest in that particular segment because we actually learned a lot through the internet rather than the curriculum. Now, when we heard about Delhi smog issue, that was like the perfect time that what we have gathered the information and we can implement it right away. So we developed a technology which was which we call is filterless air purification system. So basically there is no filter which is required, and we capture the carbon particulate and then recycle it to make black ink, black pigments. So that was a entire loop that we wanted to create for the environment. कि पोल्यूशन किसी के लंग्स में या फिर किसी के ब्लड स्ट्रीम में ना जाए और उस चीज़ को हार्म ना करे. सो थ्रू दैट नॉलेज दैट वी एक्वायर्ड एंड थ्रू दैट पर्पस दैट वी फाउंड, we actually identified how to solve a problem in a better way which was actually helping masses. So now this venture, what we have achieved is quite phenomenal, and we are doing quite well in that segment as well. So just like taking a leave and saying ki if we are clear with our why, like what we are doing and where we are coming from, if these things are actually embedded throughout the mindset of the students from an early age, then we know that what we are doing, we can create innovation like ours and like beyond those, and we can see actually India becoming a superpower. Thank you.
Thank you for those fantastic insights, Mr. Mishra. Up next, we have Mr. Ravi Ravaria, a catalyst in the realm of recycling and sustainability.
Very good morning. I'm Ravi. I'm the founder of Archive Recycling, and a brief intro about me. I was from a state board. I did my graduation from accounts and finance. I did my post graduations in management. Did my diploma in financial accounting. So everything related to accounts, commerce. But what I'm doing is completely different, and I'm here to share this story with you. Like how I end up into the recycling, which is something related to science, and what I'm doing. And talking about Archive Recycling Private Limited, it's we are into recycling the printer cartridges. We all also use these printers at office, maybe at home. So have you ever wondered what exactly happens to the printer cartridges which is used inside, which you use inside that printer? What do you do once you are done using it? Most of us must be throwing it in the dustbin, or if we are an institute, a well-known institute, and environment के related कुछ ज़्यादा क्या करते हैं, तो we must be collecting and we will be giving it to the e-waste recyclers. But you know what happens after that? When you throw these cartridges in the dustbin, it ends up in the landfill directly. And when you give it to the e-waste recycler, what happens is they are supposed to recycle it, but they are not. I'm talking about the scenario before 2018. I'm so proud to say this, like if you are from anywhere in India or in Bhutan, and if you are giving your cartridges to the e-waste recyclers, it will end up in our facility for recycling.
Wow, that's amazing.
We started this thing in 2018, and I never thought of starting a business or starting a startup which is into this thing, like not even business maybe. Let's not talk about startup, not even business. My plans were completely different. My plans was, doing an MBA from Canada. I was so serious about it, and I already applied in 2 of the universities. One was McGill and the other was Rockland. I was serious about this thing. I was like, yeah, I want to do something in finance. I don't want to get into this stuff. But what actually changed? I'm here to share the story about that. In 2018, when I was in second year of my graduation, I was graduating from Mumbai University, and there was a business plan competition which was conducted in our college. I was at that time about 18, and at the age of 18, student must मेरी बात से ये करेंगे कि 1 lakh rupees as a cash prize we see it as a very big amount. Yeah, 1 lakh से हम क्या क्या कर सकते हैं. So I was one of them. I was a student at that time, right? So looking at this 1 lakh cash prize, I participated in this business plan competition. Over there, I won this competition and I won 1 lakh rupees with the idea. Let me tell you, कहाँ से ये idea आया था cartridge recycling का. I belong to a Gujarati family. तो मेरे डैड का मेरे फादर का जो बिजनेस था, that was of importing the printer cartridges. We were the importers of this. Like, let me tell you one thing. Every single component, even the toner cartridge, the printer cartridges itself, every single cartridge is imported. There is no manufacturing in India. So even the cartridges that you are using, whether it is OEM or the compatible or the refurbished, all of them are imported. So we were one of the importers. As I told you, I belong to a Gujarati family. हमारे में कैसा होता है कि at a very young age, when you are in school, you get business में लगा देते हैं, business में लेके जाते हैं, shop पे लेके जाए, warehouse में लेके जाए, factories पे लेके जाए. We had this thing in our community, or you can say. So when I was in 8th, I started going to the warehouse. तो warehouse में जाते थे, we used to उधर जाते थे कुछ काम करते. So जाते जाते देखते गए, printer cartridge रोज देखते थे. I used to ask my father, ये है क्या, ये क्या होता है, इसके अंदर के components क्या होते हैं. So from that age only, I used to get the idea. Here printer cartridge में क्या component है, जैसे कि PCR, charging roller, magnet roller, developer rollers, toner powders, auto beads. So these are the components which are inside this printer cartridges, and I was aware about those things when I was in school. यहाँ से एक बेसिक चीजें थी कि ओके ठीक है चलो अगर ये प्रोडक्ट खराब हो गया तो व्हाट विल बी द आउटपुट ऑफ द कार्ट्रिज एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट. बेसिक आइडिया मेरे पास था. In 2016 there was an amendment. The amendment was like this: if you are using more than 20 kg of e-waste in a year, you are supposed to collect the e-waste and you have to give it to the authorized e-waste recycler. This actually changed the things, I would say. So the thing in 2016, we were supplying these cartridges to one of the MNC. The MNC was Marico, and they were obviously using more than 20 kg of the e-waste. We were supplying these cartridges to them. They were like, if you want to continue your supply of these cartridges to us, then you will have to collect it and recycle, give it for recycling. So we collected those cartridges and we gave it to the authorized e-waste recycler, and they charged us. I was confused, like we are doing something good. We are contributing to the environment, we are not giving to the informal sector, we are not throwing it, we are giving to the e-waste recycler for recycling, and still they are charging us. I was confused. I asked them, like, why you are charging us for recycling this thing? They were like, there is toner powder inside it which we cannot recycle and which cannot be recycled. So you will have to bear the charges for destroying this toner powder. And we were like, okay. And this is what the problem that we face. We were like, okay, we are supplying somewhere around 1 lakh kg every year. And we will have to collect that and we will have to give this e-waste recycling for destroying. We were like, okay, let us figure out. I have a co-founder, his name is Mahishawa, he is my brother. He is a qualified civil engineer, and we both used to go to every Saturday we used to go to our warehouse and we used to try. Here toner powder का कुछ तो कर लेते. At that time the price of the toner powder, import cost I'm talking about, it was 450. Being a Gujarati minded person, now we're like, okay, 450 ka material hai. Let's try to figure out, let's try to recycle it. Even if we get 10% recyclability, 15% recyclability, we can sell it for 100 rupees, 50 rupees, everyone will be fine with that. At least we don't have to pay for recycling. So this is what, like, यहाँ से एक basic structure बनना start किया. We started researching in 2016. By the end of 2018, we formulated a process which was partially recyclable. Like we made a process which was capable of recycling 45 to 60% of the total waste that we were generating. We started collecting this thing. We were like 2018 जब भी competition होने वाला था मेरे college में. Before that, we never thought of doing इसको फुल फ्लेज बिजनेस में करने के लिए, because we were thinking कि this is the only problem of us or a very small community of us, like हमारे जो importers उनका, but no one else is facing this problem. We have this thing in our. So when I participated in this competition and we were asked to make the presentation, we were collecting the data for this thing. We realized that we were only considering ourselves, but we are not considering the other people. Like the EV cycles are the biggest stakeholder in this thing, because they were collecting this thing from Pan India, they were not recycling and they were destroying. So they are the person who is actually facing the problem, not us. So we, after winning this competition, we started working on it. We received a cash prize of 1 lakh rupees, and at that time also I was confused whether to start with this thing or pursue with the MBA stuff. So that's where actually, as Rama said, Rama sir said, the teachers have to back the students. So the dean of my incubation center who gave us the cash prize of 1 lakh rupees, they were like, okay, why you don't want to start with this? Your idea is good, we believe in that. Why you don't want to start this thing? So I was like, I already have a plan. And they were like, if you want to get into any international university, you should have at least 16 years of working education experience. In India, we have 15, right? If you do BCom or any SFC. So if we have 15, so you will anyways have to do your MCom. So you already have 3 years with you. Try it out. We are giving you money. You try it out. If it works, then that's good. You can continue this thing, or else you can wind it up. And with this, I started this thing. And the biggest problem, as Abhay sir said, the problem is parents or sometimes teachers kill the idea. My parents was against this thing. They were like, we are the importers of the tuna cartridges. We are the first chain, start of the supply chain. And you are like, you want to recycle this thing. You want to get into the bhangar wala stuff. That was literal which my dad said. तुझे क्या करना है? तुझे waste का काम करना है? तुझे भंगार वाले का काम करना है? Why we are, हम तुम्हें क्यों पढ़ा रहे हैं? हम ये देखने के लिए कि हमारी सोसाइटी में बोले कि आपका बच्चा भंगार का काम कर रहा है. So that's how my dad tried to demotivate me. And I was like, okay, dad, give me, I have already won this 1 lakh rupees, give me 3 months ka time. If I am unable to do anything, I will wind it up. After 3 months, I made a total revenue of 4.5 lakhs with zero cost. Like the delivery, logistic cost, I was not going. And looking at the profit margins that I was having, my dad was like, okay, if ये तुझे continue करना है? Are you serious about this thing? So I was like, yes, I want to continue with this thing. And I was like, कितना investment चाहिए और तुझे आगे करने के लिए? At that time, अगर मेरे teachers जो थे professors थे, मेरे teachers थे, उनके help के through at that time इतना पता नहीं होता ना finance कैसे manage करना है, क्या होता है कि investment अगर मुझे project बनाना है तो what should be the inflow of cash and all this stuff. So I was like, 3-4 lakh में हो जाएगा. My dad was like, what if I give you 7.5 lakhs? Will you manage it? No, कर लेंगे. He invested 7.5 lakhs. He wound up his entire import wala business and he started working with it.
Wow.
Today we are operating in India and Bhutan, and we are in talks with 2 other countries, that is UK and France. The recyclers over there as well are interested in our recycling services. Where in India we are being charged. This is the same scenario in the European countries. There is just one company, that is Jet Tech. They are collecting 200 tons, which means 2 lakh kg of printer cartridges every month. Wherein what we are recycling till today, if we combine all the recycling things that we are doing in India and in Bhutan, we are recycling 30,000 kg, 40,000 kg. So that's the kind of problem that we have. India, we have this informal sector, so that's why we never see this problem. Okay, so in India we have this informal sector, that's why we don't see this problem much. But in the Western countries they don't have the informal sector to tackle these problems. So I would like to wrap this thing. I will just like to end this from my side by saying that today's generation, like the students just need a spark and a trust on them. Like the dean of my incubation center had a trust on me to do something in to do on this. I will request all of you, all of the people here to Just hear the idea, suggest them, show them the path, and I assure you all, you will be proud of the decision that you made. Thank you.
कहते हैं हमारे विद्वान जो हैं वो गागर में सागर भर सकते हैं, और हम आशा करते हैं कि हमारे आगे के जो सारे स्पीकर्स होंगे वो जरूर ही हमारे को कम शब्दों में और बहुत कुछ बता पाएंगे। इसी के साथ मैं निमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी एक बहुत ही शानदार साइंटिस्ट जिनको आकाश गंगा का और आकाश का ये चाहते हैं कि हम भी थोड़ा सारगर्भित रहे, अरविंद सिदाना जी।
Thank you, Riddhi. First of all, speaking when you are not been scheduled in the program, it becomes very difficult for speakers to, and when you know the whole proceeding is behind the schedule. So I have an advantage which I will be taking. So we have got a Dr. Mayuri Dutt. She is associated with us as on the various capacity. So I will just give you the maybe well within the couple of minutes only. Various entrepreneurs have come and spoke about what has made them motivated to be great entrepreneurs and a lot of achievements that they have done. And of course, this platform which has been speaking about the skill development. So first of all, thanks to Dr. Vishwajit Saha, R.P. Singh ji, Joseph Emmanuel, and all the team from the CBSE. Well, I happened to be here in Delhi today because of my other meetings, and when I realized this is something, great function is happening. And I represent one of the institutions which is a National Innovation Foundation India. And I'm pretty sure at least half of the audience must be aware about this institution. For one of the important programs when we look at the school-going children, and it's called the Inspire Manak. When it is Inspire Manak, I consider you all are very much aware about it. But let me tell you, if I could guess that the audience which is in front of me largely belongs to a CBSE fraternity, I'm sure when tomorrow Mayuriji will be speaking about the entire presentation of how the journey of Inspire Manak is and how it is helping to the young minds, then I must tell you, nearly 72% of the participation in this Inspire Manak program comes from the state level school. So if I have to include the rest of the community, then it's only 28%. So it is wise to speak in front of you saying that if I have to look at the CBSE, I think being a central education board, I think you need to take an initiative and that number has to increase. I hope most of you know what is Inspire Manak. Inspire Manak stands for the Million Minds Augmentation and National Aspiration and Knowledge. I think a lot of aspect has been spoken about how one has to be a good innovator, how the innovator can reach to the entrepreneurship, of course doing a huge amount of work in the process. But I think Inspire Manak is a single platform wherein the innovation will come when you have a right idea to speak about. And this Inspire Manak is a portal where the only ideas are being invited. And the genesis of this, I think, by and large, you must be aware that when it was, earlier it was called an Inspire Award, which was being later on renamed as an Inspire Manak. I think you are quite aware that when it was an Inspire Award, I think a lot of industry has come forward and started giving a ready-made projects to the students and the schools and the teachers and all. So many, kind of a change in the business community. But then when this idea was being taken up and realized that I think something corrective measure has to be done, and then it has been shifted from the Inspire Award to Inspire Manak, wherein the Manak defines the standard, and every year we started getting and receiving nearly 7 to 8 lakh ideas per year. The last year the highest record was about 7.92 lakh ideas have been registered on the Inspire Mana portal. And the whole process, this is the scheme of Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. National Innovation Foundation is an implementing agency. We have a huge network of our team who is been working on it. It is expected that at the first level we should receive about the lakhs of idea. Nearly 10% of it, about the lakhs of ideas should be shortlisted, where once the ideas is being selected, the children gets about 10,000 rupees as a seed money to convert that idea into a small kind of a crude prototype. And after that, it reaches to what we call it as a school level, then it comes to the district level, we call it a DLEPC. From there onwards, it comes to 10%, which is about 10,000 ideas which come at the state level. From state level, that is about 10,000, it comes to about 1,000 ideas, by which again the students at the certain intervals, they keep on getting the certain amount of funds from the us. Nearly 25,000 is the maximum amount that we give when they reaches to the state level. We have been doing the mentoringship with all of them. We do have in this mentoringship all the IITs, ISAs and NIT professors to mentor those children. And nearly 1,000 ideas with the prototype reaches to the national level. And only 60 ideas gets the national awards by the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology. And I just tell you, in the journey of last 7 to 8 years, you will be thrilled to understand the ideas which was coming from the school level child. NIF has a wonderful Fab Lab facilities. My in-house scientists work on it. We got value addition programs in which we work with a lot of S&T institutions across the country. That idea, we are the one who try to convert them with the help of the facilities that we have. And the ideas really get converted into the technology transfer. I will just mention 3 and I stop, Nidhi. I am not going to be more than what the time has been given. There are 3 children. The one child who actually gave an idea looking at her grandfather's pain. Grandfather used to have these walker to walk a distance. Then she realized that her grandfather is unable to climb the steps, and the idea that he gave, can we have an adjustable walker? And that idea has got converted into the prototype, and today it has been technologies transferred to one of the leading company, which is the Visco. I think all of you must be aware about in the orthopedic industry. And that girl has been getting the royalty of lakhs of rupees every year, wherein the simple idea which was been given by Shalini from Patna, today she is getting the royalty and the products are available on the Amazon as well. So the kind of platform that Inspire Mana is trying to give, where the children, if they have a simple idea, we are the one who are there to convert that idea into the prototype, and given the chance, we are there to even go forward and convert that into technology transfer. The another idea which was came during the COVID time, it was very much challenging to pick up the garbage by their own hands, and all challenges were there. A simple school-going child who gave an idea to have a kind of a remotely collecting kind of a platform, which again we worked on it, and that child also has got a patent granted, and really every year nearly 40 students get the patent, and NIF is an institution which help to give that file the patent on the name of the innovators, and we are the facilitator. We are not the patent holders, but we are the one who help them to get them into patenting mode. And that is where this is the one part of the story which I spoke about when I'm looking at the children in the forefront. But our main motive is to work for the grassroots innovations who does not have any standard education background. And today, if I have to say, and I close, what the USP we have today, nearly 13 Padma awardees by the Government of India are the grassroots innovators which have been first recognized by the National Innovation Foundation since its inception. So the platform is good. I appeal to all of you, if you really feel that your child has a good ideas, please log on to the Inspire Mana. I hope Dr. Mayurji will be speaking about it tomorrow whenever she gets the time. look at it, we look forward to really the bright talent of the country should be recognized at all the platform, and we are there to do that. I further take the opportunity to invite you on 11th of October when you are going to see the national level competitions and award ceremony is going to happen in the Vigyan Bhavan, where Honorable Minister will be giving those awards for the last year's winners, and we are going to have a couple of days exhibition in Ambedkar Stadium on 9th and 10th of October, and 11th we will have a prize distribution. Please do come. This is an open invitation. Please convey to the CBSE people. We will make the arrangement. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for those inspiring words. What a phenomenal session that was. Our panelists have indeed offered us a glimpse into the future of innovation and entrepreneurship. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We have the democratic setup, the demographics, and the intelligence to spearhead the innovation revolution. It's all up to us now. Thank you.
अब मैं निवेदन करना चाहूँगी डॉक्टर जोसेफ इमानुअल जी, डायरेक्टर एकेडमिक्स CBSE से, कि वह आए और हमारे सम्मानित पैनलिस्ट को प्लांटर, शॉल और पेंटिंग देकर आभार हमारी तरफ से व्यक्त करें।